So I look for scat and I look for footprints. This is the best part of my job. Okay, so so the scat on this side is from Talawatu Goda, and so is the paw print. Once I've got the scat and the pug mark, again, very difficult to say if it is a fishing cat. In Colombo, you can kind of say, because scat is very different to dog scat, because scat kind of comes out like a nice Keel's chicken sausage. Sorry, I like Keel's chicken sausage as well. So yeah. Okay, so it comes out like a nice long sausage, whereas dog scat, comes in. Everyone's seen their dog poop, right? I don't need to tell you. It's more like little balls of clay dough stuck together. There are segments in dog scat, whereas cat's nice long, unsegmented chunks. So in Colombo, it's easy for me to say it's a fishing cat because I don't have any larger species of cat in the area. But of course, when you go to Yala and places like that, it's more difficult to say whether it's a fishing cat or if it's a young leopard. And even the pug marks, very difficult. It took me a long time to get used to differentiating fishing cat pugs versus dog, because they're pretty much the same size, especially if it's a nice large dog. But the cat, I don't know, the cat's paw print is more circular, and there's a bigger gap between the planta and the toe pads. So I don't know if you can see this very clearly, but that's how you, if anyone has dogs and cats at home, paint their paws and check it out. I know I've done that. So now we've got scat and tracks. So usually fishing cats have a latrine. They're very clean animals. They'll poop in the same place. So if I find a nice latrine, I will set up my camera in front of it and hope for the best. Usually I hit jackpot. So this is a really big fishing cat. He's huge. He's so big he has a double chin. It's amazing. You can't see the double chin in here, but we caught him in a trap once and he was just like huge. He shocked us all. This is actually photographed in a home garden in Madivela. So he'd come quite often. He'd check the place out, pose for a bunch of photographs before making his, before going and doing the rest of his rounds. This is a fishing cat at the Biergama BOI. This is actually behind the MS Linea Intimo boiler room. So yay, there are fishing cats. Sorry? Okay, okay. So it took us 8 months to get this photograph, but it was so worth it. And then this again is at the Talawatu Goda wetland. That's my collar around his neck. It doesn't hurt him and it's not heavy. It's like me wearing my watch. They don't feel it. It's fine. And like I said, this is his latrine. So he's smelling it because I may have meddled with it the previous day because I wanted to see what was in it. So he didn't really appreciate that. So now usually if I meddle with some scat, I usually take it home because I know he's not impressed at all. So these are the wetland cats. Anybody who has been following the project may know of this guy. I'll play the video before telling you where he is. This cat was filmed for 3 months, and this was actually in Timbirigasyaya. Everyone knows the petrol shed at the Timbirigasyaya junction where the Amrits is and the police station. So that petrol shed was where the EFL office was. So the landlord of that building, he built a pond and he filled it with goldfish. Goldfish went missing for in early Jan, but it's a goldfish. Nobody cares about the goldfish. And then he graduated from goldfish to butterfly koi. Butterfly koi is about 10K a fish. So those fish started going missing in May. He thought someone was jumping the wall to steal his beloved butterfly koi. So he set up the security cameras. And the next day I get a photograph with this guy's selfie. And then we started filming. And this is the first night, so he took, I think, 3 fish. That's 30,000 rupee dinner. It was a very expensive cat. Yeah, that's 10,000 rupees. Luckily for me, the landlord really liked cats, so he didn't mind. That was good for me. So what this guy would do, and I named him Mizuchi. Mizuchi is Japanese for a water dragon spirit. So I thought that was cool because butterfly koi are also called dragon koi, and this cat is associated with water and so much symbology. So Mizuchi. So what Mizuchi would do is he'd jump on the roof, go to the very end, and he'd eat his fish, and he'd come back down, go to the pond, catch another fish, go back up. He'd do this about 7 times. So now I really wanted to catch this cat. So what I did was I had to wait for wildlife permits, which took a couple of weeks. So to keep the cat coming, because now the landlord took his butterfly koi, he didn't want to lose any more money, I had to start stocking this pond. So I'd buy a really cheap cup, the 100 rupee cup. Any animal activists here, I'm really sorry, but this is for science. So I'd stock this pond, and my permits got a little late, so I stocked it for about a month. So every week I'd fill it every day with 10 pairs. Every day, 10 pairs of fish. So I was very broke at the end of 1 month. So after a while I was like, okay, this whole koi business isn't working, so let's switch it to like a batta and a tilapia. Battas and tilapias, if anyone has tried to catch these fish, they're very fast, and they just won't stay in one place. Mizuchi is very lazy. He's used to his koi or his carp. So I have one video, I couldn't put it in here, but I have him coming in and he sits and now he's watching these tilapia, and you can see the tilapia just zooming around the pond. It's like making little waves in the water. He tries catching one and then he's like, no, this isn't working. And then he leaves. The next night he comes and he's like, no, sorry. So I was like, oh no, he's gonna leave. So then I took the battas and tilapias out, I put carp back in, and he was a very happy cat. That night he sat in the pond and he just like caught the fish one by one, because I have found that 100 rupee carp are a lot like chickens. They're very stupid. They don't know what's happening. They're very easy to catch. So that's how Mizuchi was kept happy. And then finally he was caught. He's not happy, but I was happy, so yay. And I always tell people, I don't want to ever be in between a fishing cat and its exit, because no, you don't want to. So what happened here was, after taking this picture, I was standing, I think I was about a foot away from the cage, and I could like feel something kind of tugging at my jeans, and then I looked down to see he had stuck his little stubby arm out and he was trying to hook my ankles. So yeah, they're interesting. I've never come across a rusty that's done that, or jungle cat that's done that. So with the help of the wildlife department vets, we collared him. Again, the collar looks a little bulky, but it's not. It's less than 3% of his body weight. He was a 10-kilo cat. I'm really bad at math, so I'm not even going to try. But it was a very light collar. It was, the way I say it is, anyone who buys a new bag, or like, you know, you wear a new bracelet or you put on a new watch, you can kind of feel that weight, you know, that you're carrying. But at the end of the day, it's a very negligible weight. You don't even feel it because you're used to it. So that's what happens with these cats. His paws are blue, not because he's hypothermic or anything. I took paw prints. So after collaring and during the collaring, we have to look our cats over. So we take the weight, we look for parasites. So you can see, this isn't Mizuchi here, this is another cat. This is the cat smelling this cat. So he's got ticks on his ears. Then we check the teeth. The teeth are very important to look at because we can kind of get an understanding, a very general understanding on how old this cat is. So I've had one cat who we assumed was over 5 because his teeth were in really bad shape. He had teeth missing, the teeth were chipped, they were yellow. Mizuchi's teeth were nice and white, and and because his testes hadn't descended properly, we put him in the range of 1 to 1.5. This guy is also quite a young cat. He had very nice teeth, nice and sharp, nice and clean, no issues. And then we look for spot patterns. So no two people can see the same spot pattern. What I see is something you won't see. So, but this guy's spot pattern is quite noticeable. Does anyone know what it is? It's really cool. It's on his shoulder, if that's a hint. No? It's the little heart on top of his shoulder. So that's how we identified him. And he was easy because he had that little heart. Yeah, so that's him. And then you can also see the ventral lines going down the back really nicely in this photograph. So now I'm just going to give you an example of these cats, the range, their movement, just to get an understanding. So the first guy is Mizuchi. He was photographed at 12 in the afternoon down Skelton Road. We didn't know he was on that roof until we left, and then the owner said that the owner of the house called and said there was a fishing cat on the roof, so we rushed back and we found him just sitting there. He had been watching us for about 20 minutes. And of course I was really excited, so the pitch in my voice kind of started to get higher and higher, and that's when he got a little annoyed and gave me the dirty look and walked off. Well, that was cool. The next one is a translocated cat. So before I get onto him, Mizuchi is the resident. So his resident relocation. He was put back in the same place he was caught. Vadua, on the other hand, as his name suggests, was found in Vadua. He was a problem cat. Caught in a chicken coop. The people in that area didn't want him back because they said, he's eating and killing their chickens. They want the cat out. So we translocated him. Small problem with translocating cats, and that's why I put a collar on him, is that studies in Chile and North America, Chile where the mountain lions were collared, and North America where the Canada lynx was collared, is that when they translocate these cats, they all make a beeline back home. We wanted to see if our fishing cats were doing the same thing, because if we understood how a translocated animal behaves, it will be easier to move a cat from one place to the other, especially cats that do come into conflict with people. And most of the time people, I guess it's a lack of awareness, where because cats are territorial animals, if you do remove one from its territory, another one is 100% going to fill in that spot. So you can remove that cat, but another one's going to move in, and no one can guarantee whether that cat will be any better or worse than the one removed. So that's another thing that we try and tell people. Translocations usually are very tricky. So now Mizuchi, red. This is his, I haven't put all my GPS points, but I just wanted to give you all an understanding. So this is, where's my pointer? Okay. So this is where we released him. That's the EFL office, and the petroshed is here. And over the course of 5 months, he did this circuit every day. And this is actually Savoy. And they were showing the Monkey Kingdom, so we all thought that he went to watch that, but we weren't sure. So Savoy, then he went to Havelock City, and then this is where we photographed him. But basically, all these points, when I did my habitat survey, I found that all these houses or these lots were either abandoned, apart from Savoy, were either abandoned and so the area was overgrown, nobody was visiting these places, or it had a huge pond outside, like a massive pond. So the roof that I photographed him on had a huge pond up in the garden, and it was full of grey gourami. Everyone knows how big grey gourami get. The owner of that house actually said that he lost 2 grey gourami because of Mizuchi. And luckily for me, I managed to convince him not to do anything. So that was good. But the fish were moved. So yeah, very dependent on water. Like I mean, because there are cats that, I lost my train of thought. Sorry. They need water and a habitat and a nice overgrown habitat. So those are the places. I mean, when we visited the GPS locations, that's what we found, either outdoor pond or an overgrown garden or an abandoned lot. So this is what a resident's home range movement looks like. So it was just that for 5 months. And he also went to Fab. Yeah, which was interesting. Okay, so in comparison, this is Vadua. Like I said, Vadua was a translocated animal. He was released here. That's my study site. The study site is going to be open at the end of the year, so you should all go check it out. It's a nice wetland area. So he was released here. He spent 3 days there, but then he came in contact with the 3 resident fishing cats, and he was quickly displaced. He never stayed in the same place for more than 24 hours, apart from the study site, because he was just getting his bearings. But he never stayed in any of these places for more than 24 hours. He was continuously on the move. He never entered a wetland. And then I don't know whether he was trying to get a bus home, because he went to the Udahamulla bus station a couple of times. He went to Nugegoda, Maharagama, Gangoda. He went back to the wildlife department. He got really lost. And so it's very spotty. It's a huge range. So 5 months was just every day in a different place, which was really sad, because you see Mizuchi, who's like really knows where he is and he's very comfortable in his area. And then you've got Vadu, who's probably like scared and just wanted to go home. Unfortunately for this cat, he was hit by a car on the southern highway. He was crossing, and he was just towards Gaul. He was just past the Aturugiriya and Homagama exit. So he had moved quite a bit, and unfortunately he got hit. The road, the RDA, the cleanup crew, they were like, they didn't even keep the body for me, because they were like, you did not want to see it, because it was so bad. So that was really sad. By collaring more translocated animals, I'll be able to get a better understanding how to release them, how to reintroduce them into a new area if they have to be reintroduced into a new area. Maybe they need a longer soft release. Maybe they need to be released in a habitat that has no other fishing cats or very few fishing cats. So we can understand all those things by collaring more translocated cats and understanding their behavior. Then with resident cats like Mizuchi, we can understand how they are using their environment, because Colombo is a city and it's continuous, it's evolving and growing every day. So we need to know how to work with the wildlife rather than just shove them all out. Singapore is an example I really like to use, because they're tearing down buildings to be able to set up parks and grow trees. There are trees growing from skyscrapers, so it's kind of amazing. So we already have our wetlands in our city. So what I'm trying to encourage people to do is, instead of clearing it all, let's do some green, eco-friendly development, because that way the cats and all of us can kind of live cohesively. Because nobody really knows that the cats are around. So in Mizuchi's case, until he was caught, Nobody knew he was there, and the moment people saw him, they were like, oh my god, my children are in danger. And I was like, look, this cat has been walking in this area for a couple of months, and he had to come from somewhere, because something I didn't mention was Mizuchi wasn't the only cat. So he comes down the wall, but another cat walks along the wall and goes off screen. So there are two cats. It could be mother and son, or it could be two siblings, but obviously if there are two cats, there has to be a mother and a father in the area. So you've got fishing cats in the city, you just need to look. And the nice thing about having a fishing cat living in your roof is that they eat your polecats. And everyone knows how wonderful a polecat is when it starts to pee. And it falls on your bed, and it's horrible, and it smells, and yeah. So they are really good natural pest control in that way. Not that a polecat's a pest, but you know, when they start to pee, they are. So yeah, so what needs to be done with the three cats? The first is there needs to be a lot of research done. I mean, I know they're like really small and everyone goes gaga when they see a leopard or a lion. I mean, I do as well when I see them, but I mean, you've got the little ones. Just because they're little doesn't mean that they're any less important. And we've got 34 for crying out loud. That's a lot. That's a lot of small cats. And an issue a lot of us find, and it's like a daily battle for me as well, is the lack of funding. And this is why. So between 2007 and 2013, 99.03% of all funding given to cats went to your 7 big cats. Yay. And the 33 small cats, I'm not including the domestic cat, had to fight over 0.97%. That's not enough for 34 species, and these 34 species have subspecies as well. So it's quite a daily battle for all of us. So just to let you kind of absorb that visually, 99.03% to them, and I'm really bad at math, but you know, goes to that. So that's how the funding is divided. And I've actually had emails from funders saying, we're really sorry, but we can't give you funding because your species is just not important enough. So that's a blow, and it really sucks, to put it lightly. So apart from the research, there needs to be a lot of awareness. I've spoken to a lot of people. Sometimes they don't know what either of the three small cats are. Like I said, when I started collaring my cats in Colombo, I actually had people say, oh my god, she's strapping suicide collars around leopards and releasing them in Colombo. That was something someone actually told me. And I was actually asked to catch my cat and remove the collar because people were getting scared. And then this was during Chogam, so they thought that I was sending cats to kill the Chogam delegates. And I was like, I'm not, oh my god. So people don't even know that that they've got these cats living in their backyard, which I guess is a good thing also, because that way the cats are left alone. But I mean, people who do have, like in my study site, there's a house just opposite the wetland, and they sit in the evenings and they watch this fishing cat every evening walking past the island opposite their house. So I mean, that's amazing to spend your evenings watching these gorgeous animals just, going about their business. So there needs to be a lot of awareness. And then, of course, citizen science, which is a relatively new thing happening with us conservationists. We're kind of moving out of the hard science for conservation, because who here has read a journal article? Yeah? Okay. I mean, I read journal articles and I need a break because sometimes it's just gibberish. It makes sense, but it's just so technical. And journal articles kind of preach to the choir. So there's no point me preaching to my fellow scientists saying, look, we need to protect these species. I need to speak to people like you, the general public, because it's you guys who will make the difference. So if I go and preach a journal article to you, it's just going to go over your heads. So we've started this citizen science stuff thing, which basically involves you in our work. So for example, a good example is Snapshot Serengeti. If anyone's really bored at office, this is a super thing to do. This website, there's a huge conservation project in South Africa. I'm not sure which national park, but they've got hundreds of camera traps. So they ask the general public to help them sort their camera traps. So if I was trying to get out of doing some work at office, I would get onto this website and I'd sort their camera traps for them. So that's really cool. So that's one example of citizen science. So what we are asking you is, if anyone of you ever come across a fishing cat, see a roadkill, or jungle cat, or rusty, just let us know so that we can add these records to our data maps. This helps us get distribution. This will help us understand how many cats are being killed by road accidents. It helps us a lot, especially for these 3 species which have very little scientific information on. So what we need is basically location, date, time, species. So yes, so that's it. Thank you for listening to my talk. And if you want to learn more about the ongoing projects, you all can check these 2 websites or email us on either of these email addresses. Thank you.
If you come across a fishing cat,
Yeah.
small cat,
Yeah.
are they known to attack you?
What I tell people is, okay, for example, if you're walking on the road and if you see me, from a distance, we smile, we say hi, fine. If I come up to you and I start poking you, and I'm like poking your forehead, I'm like, hello, 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 can I ruffle your hair, can I like kick you, can I, you're probably going to hit me. I know I would. So it's the same thing with a wild animal, any wild animal. Even with a dog will usually growl and say, leave me alone. If you keep annoying it, it's going to bite you. So the same thing with any wild animal out there. You look at them from a distance, you respect them, and they'll be fine. So it's like Mizuchi on the roof. He was 10 feet above me, and I was standing just 3 feet away. He was fine. If I went to try and catch him or I invaded his personal space, then he would have warned me. If I ignored those warnings, then he would have probably bitten me. So you respect the animal, you watch them from a distance, they're all good. But apart from that, they're not going to actively come and like see you and like, oh my god, meat, and come running behind you. They're not going to do that. Anyone else?
Do they react to the presence of domestic cats?
Do they react?
Do they fight with each other?
Yes. So they'll even fight amongst themselves. So if you've got 2 rusties who don't know each other and they come in contact with each other, especially 2 males, they will fight. We've got lots of fishing cats who kind of eat domestic cats and dogs, and so do the jungle cats. Rusty, not really, because they're like really small. But yeah, you do. I mean, I've spoken to people who have said that, that the fishing cat actually came into their house and took the cat that was sleeping on the chair. So they're very bold, but nobody was really paying attention until they heard the cat yowl, and so they saw it being dragged out. So yeah, they will, but they need to eat too.
Can I ask the origins of these fishing cats or these small cats? Are they, did they sort of migrate in terms of its origin from a domestic cat, or was it the other way around?
It's the other way around. The domestic cat origined from the jungle, from the wild cat. So Felis sylvestris. Yes, I got a scientific name right. So the wild cats are the domestic cat's ancestors. It's not the other way around. And they're all different genus. So you've got the domestic cat with the jungle cat. It's the same genus Felis, whereas the fishing cat and the rusty are in the other one. Oh, sorry. And then you've got the leopards in Panthera, and you've got the 8 genus.
Weren't these cats these small cats very popular in the during the period of the Greek sort of Greek state, where they used to rear these cats as pets.
Yes.
So because you can see the pictures, the older pictures, you have these cats
They
as a pet.
They did, and again, that is the wild cat. The Egyptians had jungle cats, and then even, I mean, I've read stories where during the British, when the British were here, they'd take jungle cats and rusties. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're domesticated. I've had the pleasure of hand rearing a rusty, and she was an orphan, and she would not let anyone handle her except for me. And even with me, I could only handle her when she wanted me to handle her, and I have gotten bitten and scratched by her lots of times. So then they are not easy to domesticate. Right now we've got the Bengal cat. Have any of you heard the Bengal cat? Not the leopard cat. This is a domestic hybrid. So it's a hybridized domestic cat with a leopard cat. It's a gorgeous cat. But what people are realizing is because it's still an F4 category, they're relatively new, so they're extremely wild. As kittens, all kittens are really cute. They're easy to play with. They don't, they scratch, it doesn't hurt. But the moment they reach maturity and they reach sexual maturity, that's when it starts to get very difficult to handle. So lots of these Bengal cats are being given to wildlife sanctuaries in, I think, England and the States. They're being returned because they just can't, the people who bought them just can't handle them anymore because they've still got their wild traits. It took like centuries for the domestic cat to become the domestic cat. And even then, they're very aloof. I mean, my mom has 2 cats and I know how aloof they are. But you can't really interact with them as well as you would a dog because a dog has had much longer to adapt to people. So it's like that. So you can't really domesticate any of these wild cats within 1 or even 4 generations.
Important question.
Yeah.
I would ask something about the poop.
Okay.
Now the cats
Yeah.
usually cover the poop by
The-
nature.
Yeah.
Cats usually, because I have been having a lot of cats and I know how they behave.
Yeah.
Usually they cover. The reason is I think there is some protozoan, some thing which is harmful for the animals. Even humans can get.
Toxoplasmosis.
Yeah, toxoplasmosis. So, but now in your pictures, I didn't see them being covered.
The reason domestic cats cover their poop is because, how should I say it? They're a smaller cat. So usually smaller animals tend to cover their poop. So even rusties would cover their poop because there are larger predators. And poop is a really good way for another animal to know about the animal that pooped. It's like a dog, how they smell each other's bums when they meet.
It doesn't cover.
The cats don't cover because the fishing cat's the larger species in the area. So he's like, this is my place. All you who come across it know it's mine. So it's also like a marker for them. Now fishing cats in areas where there are larger predators, they would poop in water. So then the poop completely disintegrates. So you can't find it. Then female fishing cats with young kittens will also defecate in water because she also doesn't want any other fishing cat or any other predator in the area to know that she has kittens, because if she's lactating or if she's pregnant, all these pheromones are in the poop. So to protect her young and to protect herself, she will poop in water. But a male like that guy, he just wants people to know he's there. And he's like, this is my territory, my toilet, don't use it, that kind of thing.